beautiful, but with my experience going in and out of prisons in the last 5.5 years or so now, over 400 times, I didn't agree with some of the things that he said, but I do agree with what he's trying to do. He felt that most inmates that are having a hard time getting a job because they're felons, if they just knew how to start their own business, they would be highly motivated, jump in, and do what they needed to do, and then they could succeed. And so he wants to teach them how to start their own business and connect them with different resources, similar to what I do. But where I wanted to caution him, and I tried to do it as lovingly as I could, and in fact, I'm inviting him to partner, to join up, to affiliate, whatever the word will be, with right thinking, because we have a common goal, and that's what Mastermind's all about. He has the passion, he has a common goal. Well, I do not agree that the population that he wants to show them how to start their own business will necessarily succeed only because they're going to take it serious, because he said specifically, because they know that they don't have any other options, so they're going to make it work. Well, one of the saddest things that I've learned is that a lot of people that you really want to help, they don't show up. They don't do their homework. They don't show up for class. And they start off in the right direction, and then something happens, and it just knocks them down, and they get sidetracked. They don't stay on the path. Well, so what I want to do today is just show you that, yes, if you want to start your own business for whatever reason, because maybe you don't feel that you have any other opportunities, or maybe because you want more than just being an employee and not having a real large upside by all of your hard work. If, for whatever reason, you want to start your own business, I want to give an introductory conversation today on some of the things that are involved if you want to do it the right way. So I've talked about Pathway to Success on a couple different shows where you get your vision out there for 5 years from now, and then you lay out all the obstacles, and then you self-train, you self-educate, you self-direct to get there. Sure, that's part of it. Last week, I introduced a new friend of mine's conversation with Dave last week, where I said that Rick, a friend of mine at the Y, he said that he is always looking 30 years into the future. Dave said, well, that's a long time. Sometimes it's hard to look a day into the future. But what Rick meant was, if you take a look 30 years into the future, like what some people call that 10,000-foot look, that's really looking at who you are, your character, who you want to be as a person. Now, when you break it down to your 5-year plan and your 3-year plan or your 7-year plan or your 1-week plan, those are what you need to do in the world sense to be able to achieve your goals, to have certain accomplishments. And so we're all talking about the same thing, Rick and Dave and I, but right now I just want to lay a couple things on you. If you are going to be self-employed, if you are going to want to start your own business and have your own company, the very first thing that I want to recommend to you is you need to learn to think like an owner and not like an employee. So if you're taking notes, I'm going to say this one really loud, like in bold, 18-point font instead of a 12-point font if you were reading it, and big blue letters maybe. If you want to be self-employed and have your own business, you have to think like an owner mentality. Now, if you don't really know what that is, then start reading up about it. Google it. One of the things that I do when I do my seminars with people on how to start a business, I give them a series of articles that I Google, and listen to this. I passed out these articles over the last couple of weeks. How to start a small business checklist. Lots of things in that article. Risk when starting a business. List of risk involved in a startup business. List of small business risk. Risk that new businesses face. List of responsibilities of small business owners. Job description of a small business owner. How to start a one-man business. And then I gave them 5 or 6 articles on if they want to go into a landscaping business, just as a kind of an example of a business, so I could teach them how to research and self-educate. If you were listening really carefully of the overview articles that I passed out on checklists and different things, 4 of the 6 articles that I passed out, other than the example, dealt with risk factors. R-I-S-K. Risk. So one of my adages in business, if you're trying to go into business, it's on page 10 of my workbook that's on the internet that I just told you how to get to, Small Business and Personal Finance. It says, going into business for yourself is a very serious undertaking. If it does not succeed, you could lose everything. I'm going to repeat that last part. If it doesn't succeed, you could lose everything. Okay. What I'm trying to get across here is, yes, this is America, and if you want to start your own business for whatever reason, you can be successful. If you do all of the great things that the motivational people are trying to tell you, Napoleon Hill, know your desire and never quit. Viktor Frankl from Man's Search for Meaning is basically, just understand the past, but don't dwell on it. And when you're in the present, just always have a plan, get a plan, and then never quit. Jeff Heiser, just take that first step, keep going. Resilience today. It was a fantastic show today on not quitting. Resilience is a quality that we all have to have. I read an acronym in an article the other day by Jim Stovall, and it was be your best. B for balance, E for enthusiasm, S for single-minded focus, and T for tenacity. Tenacity. That's that ability to be like a snapping turtle. And you ever been bit by a snapping turtle where it grabs onto your ankle or your pants leg? You don't want to know. You cannot get that turtle off your leg very easily. Okay. So what I'm really trying to say to you right now is there is incredible risk if you want to go into business for yourself. And so one of the very first pictures in my workbook is a Boy Scout. And it's the picture of the standard American Boy Scout, and it's got all the Scout things up there, honesty, loyalty, trust, etc. And he's holding up his hand, taking the Boy Scout oath. And my caption under that picture says, be prepared. Okay, if I haven't made my point yet, I'm trying to tell you that the most important thing about going into business is you got to think about an owner, 1, and 2 is you better be prepared. Now, I want to give you a technique and how you can achieve both of those things if that's your desire to learn to think like an owner and be prepared. When you got your idea for what it is you want to go into, I want to teach you a way to lay out this idea so that you can focus on some of the things, kind of like Pathway to Success for the individual thinker that I was been working on. I want you to see where you want to be and then lay out all the obstacles and then make sure that you don't go out and try to do something that you're not going to be able to do because you missed something. And so I'm going to give you a technique in a minute that is just really easy, and it's been one of my best techniques I've been using for probably 30 years, and I've had absolutely huge success with the people that I've shown this technique to. And it's not complicated. You don't have to have a computer. You don't have to know how to do spreadsheets. All you got to do is have a blank piece of paper and do the following. I call it a flow chart. Now, the flow chart, there's many ways to do a flow chart. It's basically drawing squares and boxes and circles and arrows that go from one to the next to the next. Kind of like just decision tree, some people call it. If you go here and this happens, then go up here. Just to kind of get too complicated, it's like when you're trying to figure out how to do a tax return manually. If your income is higher than this, go to form this. No, I'm just joking there. I don't want to confuse you. I just threw in. But a flow chart is basically showing you in a graphic way, like a little stick drawing, how to lay out your idea to get it focused. And we've had whole shows on focus, okay? And one of the things that I want to tell everybody that's listening, a lot of you listening will never have your own business because that's not the direction that you choose to go. But you will be employees for companies creating an income. And when you're going to be an employee creating an income, you will do so much better at your job. You will get raises. You will get advancements. You will have new opportunities. You might go as far as you can in one company and have another company want to hire you. If you look at your job as a learning experience, doing the very best you can for your employer, and knowing that this is a means to an end. I had a whole show on that topic. So here's what I'm telling you. If you are going to go into a business and you don't have any real experience in that business, you might, before you try to invest in your own business and then roll the dice and take a chance, you might want to work for somebody that's already in that business. And when you're there, it might be a lower level job, but guess what? You're going to have that lower level function in your own company, so you might as well learn it inside and out and be getting paid for it. And after you've mastered it, maybe you'll move on to another part of the company that you need to learn about. So if you are at a job making a wage and you're doing the very best you can, and instead of getting bored, you start thinking, if I was an owner here, I wonder how I could make this better. Cut my costs, get more product out in a shorter period of time, get more efficient. Start thinking like that instead of just, oh, well, I guess when I get off tonight, I'll go to a movie. Yeah, I like movies, but I like to concentrate when I'm working, too, to make more money for my employer. Well, here's in my introduction on page 4 of Personal Finance and Small Business Ownership, I got a little paragraph here. The importance of having enough money and knowing what that amount of money is to support one's lifestyle is one of the main themes of this seminar. This is the key right here. Whether one's income is derived from being self-employed or from working as an employee for a company other than your own, the income that flows into the personal budget works the same way. Okay, I'm going to stop on that for a minute. On page 22, the whole key to this seminar that I'm trying to teach is called the personal and business relationship. Now, for all of you that know you never want to have your own business, I still want you to learn my course because you're going to be working as an employee with the mindset of a business owner, and you will increase your value to your employer, and consequently or subsequently, you will probably get promotions and raises and be recognized for doing such a good job because you'll be conscientious and the go-to guy or gal. So here's the business-personal relationship. All of us in our life want to have enough money to support the way that we live. And I call that your personal lifestyle. And if you don't have enough money coming in to pay your bills, your personal lifestyle is going to get really kind of difficult to support. There are 4 parts to this that I want you to see. One is you have resources. You have